2 speakers?
Yes, and we have 12 people on the line. Or actually, we have 24 participants.
Yeah.
So go right ahead, ma'am.
Both of our speakers are here as well.
Very good, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you've got to guide me. I don't have my, I don't have notes or anything. All right, so good evening. Welcome. This is Julia Lynn Walker, President of the Franklin Park Civic Association, and I warmly welcome you to this evening's session. We've got a lot happening, and we are starting a few minutes late, but I think we should be able to cover everything as we, go along. So first, I want to, let me just go straight to the speakers, and let's get, have that discussion before we go into our minutes and committee reports. And unfortunately, again, because I'm lacking internet for some reason, and I don't have my notes in front of me. So I really need to be guided by either the vice chair or the development in terms of introducing our speakers for this evening.
Will, you're muted.
Is that better? Ms. Aubrey Stevens has an extensive background in marketing and merchandising, and most recently has been wearing 2 hats since May of 2019, one as general manager of the 1400 Food Lab, and secondly, director of operations for the East Market Trolley District at Franklin Park. Aubrey, let me introduce you to our group and take us away.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm glad to be able to be a part of your meeting this evening. I was hoping to be able to share some pictures, and Will, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that I'm not able to do that unless you guys give me permission to do so.
Bam.
Where it says to share my screen. There we go. All right. Give me 1 second while I pull this up here. Was there another speaker? Did you want to introduce them while I get this up and running?
Okay. Let me jump to our second speaker.
Hey, Mom, we don't say you're fat because you're not fat.
Let's see. Was that? Okay, our next speaker then is Mr. Luca Papaoko, and I asked him if he was related to that famous basketball player named Luca, and he assured me he is not. But Mr. Papaoko has worked at Columbia Gas since 2018 and was recently promoted to be their public affairs manager. So I want to welcome him to our group, and he's going to tell us a little bit about gas line replacement in the Central Ohio area, and in particular on the Near East Side. Luca?
Let me see. Can you guys see me, hear me all right?
I hear you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let me know if that video showed up now. Ooh, let me see if I can turn on the lights here so it's not as bright. There we go. Let me do this a little bit better at least. I don't know if I'm kind of in the light there.
Yep, everything looks good.
Good. All right. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I know you guys had maybe some questions about some work that we had done or will be doing in the future. So wanted to help provide information. Like you said, my name is Luca with Columbia Gas of Ohio, Public Affairs Manager. So just off the bat, if there's ever any questions or concerns you guys have about work we're doing or anything gas related, you're more than welcome to contact me. Number and emails on our website. I can also provide it to you, and I guess I can put it in the chat too after I get done here. But always want to be a resource for you guys in the community. So anything that I can do, even if it's sharing messages to newsletter or anything like that, more than happy to do that. But I know we do post on Nextdoor if there's any direct impact, whether it be plan to work or emergency work. So would say that, but always will be a source of information for any Columbia Gas work that is going on. Otherwise, I know the one thing that kind of wanted me to talk about today was our gas line replacement projects. So that's something that we do on a regular basis, on an annual basis, actually. Have about, I'd say, 50 to 60 projects across Ohio. This year we have about, I think about 30 or so in Central Ohio, and I think a handful in the near east side. And so those projects have been ongoing since about 2008. It's part of our agreement with the PUCO, where we go in and replace old and aging infrastructure. So it's cast iron, bare steel pipe, things that have corroded, been in the ground for a long time. We go in proactively, upgrade that to new, higher functioning plastic pipe. And so really our main focus is safety and reliability of our system. And so that's kind of what that targets. And so within that, we upgrade our main lines that are in the streets that feed the neighborhood, as well as our service lines that run to each and individual home. Within that, we also place some safety features on it, such as what's called an excess flow valve. So that's actually a mechanism that's on the line that runs to your home, where it will decrease pressure if it senses a hit line or some type of damage. So that's one of the things that we add to a lot of our pipes now moving forward. So those projects are decided on an annual basis. And so what happens every year is we look and see, we have a kind of a health status of our system. Our engineering team looks at, and they decide based off of maintenance, leaks, things like that, kind of where we need to target. And so I do have a map that I can share here of kind of where we've been working and also where we plan to work. Let me share that now. Let's see. And I will say, for any of the work that we end up doing, we do notify customers in advance. So should you guys be expecting anything in the future, we will provide you ample notice ahead of time, not only before we start the project, but also before any impact at your particular address. Let me see here. And so, see, start share. I'm trying to see. It says won't let me share. Let me see if I can do this another way.
Recording in progress.
Otherwise, as far as, and I can see if I can pull it up. Otherwise, kind of where we have planned, and I don't think it's actually going to be impacting Franklin Park itself. So our 2022 projects, we have one just north of Broad Street. And then we have another one in Old Town East. So I don't think that impacts your guys' area. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Let's see.
Luca, I made you the host. Apparently a co-host wasn't working, so see if you can share now.
Let's see that. Let's try this now. I apologize about that. Let's see. There we go. All right. So on the screen, thank you. On the screen, so that's what we're looking at project-wise. So projects we completed in 2020, projects we completed in 2021, and then also upcoming 2022 work. And so keep in mind, this is only for our gas line upgrade project. So these are proactive things we have that we do as a part of Columbia Gas upgrade and improve that safety and reliability of our system. This doesn't include any work that we have in cooperation, say with the city for like their Blueprint Columbus work. So not sure if there's any of that planned for the area moving forward, but we do some coordination with the city for that. And then also if there's any relocation that is in coordination with the city, say when it comes to our sewer paving project, we may do that. Then also other type of work that could also happen is emergency. So if there's a leak, we would come out and do some work then. But otherwise, this is just strictly our proactive infrastructure upgrade work for the next year. It's like I said, this is decided on an annual basis. So we won't know 2023 work until kind of somewhere through 2022. But kind of give you a heads up of kind of where we've been, what we're looking at moving forward. But also want to see if there's any questions that anyone had as far as our work, what we do, or anything in general I can help answer.
Let's see. Do you want to stop sharing, or maybe we can keep it up? But if somebody has a question, maybe I can't see everybody on the screen right now. I was going to say, if you want to ask a question in the chat, or kind of start there, we can see.
And I know the only other thing I'll mention, I know that you had mentioned was sidewalks. I think you said some people have been planning to do some sidewalk upgrades. As far as our work goes, so this area, which I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, that this one particular area is Franklin Park, but otherwise, when we do our work, we do restore anything that we impact. So it goes for soft surface, hard surface. If you have any concerns, you're more welcome to contact me about that. Hard surface wise, we replace what we impact. So if we impact a particular sidewalk panel, we would replace that panel completely. If we impact a whole entire sidewalk, we would replace a whole entire sidewalk. So as far as looking out into next year, if anyone's planning on doing it, I would say it doesn't look like we have anything impacting your area for next year. Past that, it's hard to say otherwise.
Well, that's absolutely right, Luca. As we mentioned, as we discussed, people get nervous when they see backhoes, traveling through the neighborhood, and we've had quite a few for a road project that was seemingly unannounced. But you're saying that you guys send letters, and actually the copies of those letters are on the website. Can you talk a little bit about the website, how to maybe navigate to it, and what you'll find in terms of list of projects, documents, point of contact information?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have on columbiagasohio.com, just go to work in your area and you'll see projects, and that's just a list of projects we have for the current year. And we'll keep that updated as years progress and projects progress. But like I said, it's only our infrastructure upgrade stuff that we do proactively. Otherwise, I know there's one question about how we notify neighbors. So we'll post the next door. We'll send emails to emails we have on file. We'll send letters to addresses in the mail, and then we also notify local leadership. So we'd be reaching out to you guys if there's ever anything that we have, upcoming. As far as how old gas lines are in the area, if you're any of the red or the blue area, which again I don't think you guys are, those would be brand new. Otherwise, I know we've done some other work, I think even previous to 2020, kind of in the area. So the only way to know how old they are would be for me to go back to our engineering team and kind of look at the map in your area, but there's no like public record, I would say, of that. So unfortunately, I can't say without consulting with our engineering team. I was going to mention something else real quick, and I lost my train of thought. But yeah, was there any other questions that you guys had at all?
I think you just answered the two questions that were on the chat. And if you could put those, that website and any other links in the chat, we'll make sure that everybody has it. And of course, now you have our email address, and you can add us to any notifications of projects that are scheduled or may not be scheduled that you end up having to do with other departments like the city, so that we can notify our membership and people in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and actually, I just remember real quick, and just always like to mention this, one, always call before you dig. So call 811 if you guys have a digging project. Always like to get that out there. But in regards to that, I know I'll get a lot of questions sometimes like, hey, I start seeing these markings pop up in my yard. There's some flag or paint. And so a lot of the times we get blamed for that. It's not always us, but a good way to find out about that. So I know some companies may be better when it comes to communicating those projects, but actually you can actually call 811. So if you start to see some markings pop up in your yard, one, it's usually good for a 2-week time period. So when you see those markings start to pop up, know that something is likely to happen within the kind of that 2-week time period. But two, you can actually call 811. If you provide them your address, just call their customer service, provide your address. They'll be able to tell you either what company or what utility pulled the permit to have that locate done. So that way, if you're kind of wondering, who's doing this work and they have notified you, you can call that in, and they'll be able to tell you, hopefully, hey, AEP, they called to have this block located, so there's going to be some electric work. So I always recommend that. It's a quick and easy way to kind of find out more if you see those start to pop up. Otherwise, just in quick relation to that, any of the markings you see start to pop up doesn't necessarily indicate where digging will occur. It's just what's already underground. So for instance, red's electric, blue is water, green is sewer, yellow is gas. Those pink survey flags are kind of for property line. So when you see those, it's just mainly locating what's underground so that way they can understand where they can dig and can't dig. But yeah, if you see stuff start to pop up, you can call there, but otherwise those markings are just underground utility markings.
Excellent. Luca, thanks so much. And if there are no further questions, it says, okay, we have one other. Do you notify people of gas leaks?
Yeah, so if there's, so if we get alerted to a gas leak, say someone calls it in, say there's a smell of odor. Obviously, if the leak is impacting a certain address or a certain individual, we will notify them. Otherwise, if there's, say, a leak at my home, it's not like they notify the whole entire neighborhood of the leak. They would just notify the individual whose service it impacts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because apparently a construction crew caused a leak today on Fairwood, and I'm not sure what the impact was, but apparently it was sufficient for the police to have been called by someone to block traffic and make sure nobody went in the area, is what I heard.
Yeah, so oftentimes summer and fall and even spring are digging season. So as that happens, we get a lot of cases of hit lines, and so say
digging season, you said?
Yep, digging
okay.
season. So,
okay, I want to make sure. Okay.
Yep. So we get a lot of times where we get called out to the scene because a line was hit because of them digging, because they didn't call 811 and they didn't follow 811. And so we'll often be dispatched to kind of repair the leak. Make it safe, repair it. But yeah, a lot of our leaks in the summer are caused by third-party contractors. Very good.
Luca, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you going above and beyond, and that's what people from Cleveland do, right? Gotcha. All right.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. I'm a Columbus native now. I've been here for long enough, but
same here. Yeah, we have a couple of ex-Clevelanders in our group. But thanks so much again, and our members will be in touch with you as needed. All right.
Absolutely, and don't hesitate to reach out. Always happy to help.
Okay, and if you can, let's see. So you've unshared the screen, so we're good to go.
All right, do that.
Make sure. Okay. All right. Now, Aubrey says she is ready to go, I believe. Hey, yes, she is. And she's been introduced once, but just want to reiterate that she is the main point of contact for the East Market at the Trolley District. And once she launches this slide in theater view here, any PowerPoint buffs that present? There it is. Hey, all right, go ahead.
All right, so sorry for that false start the first time. The computer skills sometimes are a little lacking, but we got there in the end, right? So again, thank you guys for having me on. Just want to give a little bit of an update about the East Market and about the Trolley District as a whole. As you all probably know, the Trolley District encompasses several large buildings, and the building that I am currently working on is the East Market. That's on the, what is that? The it's, sorry, I was trying to think where in relation that it is. It's at the corner of Oak and Kelton at 212 Kelton. And you've probably driven by it and seen this, the green opening or the green wall above the opening before. The market is about a 40,000 square foot building that will encompass several food related vendors. We have a bar that services the entire market area on the main floor. And then we have one in the basement that will be open late. It's a little bit more of like a speakeasy that'll be open late and on weekends. And we also have a 250 person capacity event space on the second floor of the market. We have been hard at work to get the building ready for our vendors and for me to take over and get all of the spaces leased and the construction coordinated with all of our new vendors. So we have a growing list of tenants that will occupy the building. We have been very careful to put in, to have a good mix of tenants that will have all the foods that everybody, is looking for, everything from burgers and pizza to Mediterranean and, sushi and all the trendy stuff like fried chicken and, baked goods, breakfast and all of that. So, like I said, I wanted to share some progress pictures with you. This is when you walk in the front door of the market. Please don't mind any of the construction equipment, because when you go over there, it is definitely a live and active site. But this is when you walk in the main entrance, and this is kind of the view that you see looking down the market. One of the things that we have just completed is painting the ceiling, so you can see the difference in those photos there. To see the difference of what that ceiling looks like. That was a major accomplishment and a big move forward for the project as a whole. This view here is
Christina, nice to meet you.
Hello. So this view here is looking at one of the vendor stalls. Right now they look like short walls, but these walls will be raised up and be 7 feet tall and will divide the separate stalls for the vendors. This is a view of the butcher and grocer. They're an anchor for us and will be occupying actually 7 stalls in the market, including a full butcher shop, a cheese shop, a fishmonger, greengrocer, and a bottle shop. And then they also have a prepared foods stall where they'll do burgers and fries every day. And then they'll push all of their meat specials over there. So they're going to be a big part of the market and really make this feel more like a market and less like a food hall. This is the beginning of the bar. The bar that services the entire market will be operated by the Rail House. That is one of the groups that is part of Connect Realty as a whole, the developer. They currently run Crafted for You, which is a private event service, the Grandview Cafe, Round 2, which was formerly Balboa's, and Hadley's downtown. So they have a lot of experience in running the fast-paced world of bars. They'll be operating this one and the one in the basement that I unfortunately don't have any pictures of, but the bar in the basement will only be open weekends and late nights. So they'll be operating both of those. This is a view of the event space upstairs. We have a capacity for 250 people, and we will do all kinds of events from wedding receptions to fundraisers, you name it, we'll do it upstairs. This will have, event tables and have the ability to be decorated and all of that. We have a fantastic event planner named Allison, who will be reaching out to all of our vendors and the locals to try to get some events going on here in the near future. This is another view of the event space and the mezzanine seating. So this will be overflow seating upstairs for the market when we're at capacity downstairs, or even if people just want to go up and be upstairs. I think there's room for about 80 seats up here. And this is one of the skylights that we worked so hard to get into the building. We're really proud of this, and really has made a big difference in making this building look bright and spacious and ready for people to start occupying. And this is just a view of the outdoor windows. So like you can see, if you've been passing by this building for years, you can see how much work has gone into the outside to really get it ready for the public. And the last picture here is a view from what will be the Columbus Brewing Company beer garden, looking into the back of the market. You can see the balcony here that will be all of the outdoor seating in the nice weather. And I think we've got about 200 seats out there. So I think we're really going to be a great destination for the neighborhood. I think this is really going to push things over the edge for the neighborhood, for people to really start, coming to visit and staying after they leave, Franklin Park for the conservatory for their Saturday morning tour around. We expect a lot of foot traffic and traffic from outside of the area. Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing in the building, or comments about what we're doing?
Okay.
Do you have any clarity?
I tell you, let me ask this. When you have a question, if you say your name first and then go ahead and ask your question. Thanks.
Hey, it's Mick. Can you give us as much clarity on timeline?
That's the question of the hour. If you have any idea of our timeline, I'd love to hear it now. We are dealing with delays with COVID. That is much further reaching than what any of us could have anticipated. Just today, I found out that because of COVID, the 3-compartment sinks that we expected next week will not be here for several weeks. So we do not have a definitive timeline.
Aubrey, someone asked, do you have a site plan you can share of the whole site? Now, and let me ask Emily, you mean of the whole East Market? I guess maybe one way people are thinking, okay, of the whole East Market. So you mentioned several vendors. Do you have a sense of who's going to be sitting in what chair and what space?
I do.
Okay.
So I don't have a site plan. I believe that you can look that up online to see the site plan for all of the district. But I'm primarily concerned with East Market. So I kind of leave the rest of the district to the others.
So,
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. With regard to the East Market, how about, do you know who's maybe going to be sitting where?
I do. So I will just start with stall 1 and work my way around. In stall number 1, we have a signed lease with Pete Abilities. They are a native to Columbus, started with several food trucks and very well known. They do a lot of the festival circuit, all of that. So we're really excited to have them. In stall number 2, we also have a food truck, Macho Taco. This is their first step into brick and mortar. They've been around for a couple of years, and they're going to have a tater tot nacho bar. So you kind of choose your own toppings and all of that. So they're a real fun spin on Mexican fare. Next to Macho Taco will be Yellow Brick Pizza. So as you all probably know, they have closed down their Oak Street location. And that was actually to open up at the market. So we were really excited when we could finally start talking about that. They actually occupy 2 stalls and will have their own little seating area in one of their stalls to make it kind of feel like their Oak Street location. So we're really excited to have them and can't wait for them to open up. Moving over to the next stall, we have the Butcher and Grocer. That's where their prepared foods will be. If you keep going down the line, beyond that is actually one of the main entrances to the parking lot. So it kind of separates that out. And along the whole middle of the market is where the Butcher and Grocer will occupy. along the wall where the parking lot entrance is. That's where their cheese shop and fishmonger will be. In the middle of that space is where the bottle shop and greengrocer will be. And then along the opposite wall of the parking lot is where the butcher shop will go. So along the wall of the market going the other way, we have a bakery spot, which we have talked a lot about who this is and we've already announced it, but it looks like their financing may have fallen through. So I think that we have had to move on, and we are looking for a bakery as of today. So moving down that line in 18, I don't have a fully signed lease, so I'm not ready to talk about who that is, but it's somebody that everybody knows and loves from the North Market. We'll be really excited to welcome them. Again, the next stall, not ready to talk about, but after that we have Creole to Go. Again, another food truck that is making their way into brick and mortar. They have a huge following and have been featured in 614 several times, 614 magazine several times, and will be on the cover of Cork and Barrel this month. So we're really excited to see them grow into this new space. We have a stall open for Columbus Public Schools. As part of the tax abatement, we agreed to give them a stall for their students. At this time, they really don't have any plans for it, so we are going to move forward with a pop-up. So we will host all different kinds of vendors in that spot, and hopefully there will be kids from Columbus Public Schools that will help run that spot. You will have everything from, you know, popsicle makers to candy makers, candle makers, anybody who wants a shot at seeing if the brick and mortar thing is going to work out for them. So we're excited to have a rotating cast in there. Next to that stall will be the Trolley Barn Chicken. It is the guys from Uptown 51 downtown who were running these chicken nuggets as a special, and they did so well they decided to build a concept around the chicken nuggets. As everybody probably knows, that's a huge trend in food right now, is this fried chicken thing. So they're going to be serving that up, keeping it simple but delicious all the time. And then down the middle of the market in stall number 8, we have the Plant Gaze. This is their first step into brick and mortar as well. They do a ton of pop-ups all around the city, have gained a huge following. So we're excited to see them, be in operation every day where people know where to find them. In stall number 9, I'm not ready to discuss that one yet either. But again, it's another vendor that everybody will know and love and be very excited about. Stall number 10 will be a Korean street food. The company is called Koso. They have an existing restaurant in campus that has been there for about 15 years. This is a new concept for them. The existing restaurant is called Diaspora. I've heard fantastic things from most OSU students over the last 15 years frequenting the place. So we're really excited that they are trying their hand at the same quality, but a new concept. And then in stall 11, we have Winston's Coffee and Waffles. They will operate on a little bit different schedule than the rest of the market. They will open at 7:30 in the morning for all your coffee needs first thing, and breakfast. So anybody can come into the market early when it's still quiet in there, set up and grab their breakfast and do some work in there, or take it to go. So we have a really nice lineup of people who have been in the food scene the last couple of years and gained a nice following. We're really excited about the mix of vendors and about the different kinds of food that we'll be able to offer.
I'm sorry, Aubrey.
I can see the clapping.
Very good. That was fantastic. I'd like to run down quickly through some of the questions that were asked through the chat before we just open back up to the floor. One is, it asked if you could put Allison's contact information in the chat. And I believe Allison coordinates the event space upstairs. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, I can put her information in the chat.
Okay, and then the next question is, okay, site plan. The question is signage for parking and driving through. I'm not sure, Kim, what you had in mind with driving through, but the, people may not be aware there's a dedicated entrance and a dedicated exit to the parking lot on the north side of the East Market. So I'm sure there'll be signage saying this way in, this way out from the parking there. And I'm not sure is, are you familiar with the parking configuration of the overall lot, Aubrey?
I mean, the
Somewhat.
existing lot is there already.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just don't have lines drawn in, but that is for the market, that is the public parking. Now, for the rest of the district, there are other parking areas just beyond the Columbus Brewing Company building.
Right.
But for the market, what you see is what you get there. We did do a
Right.
survey of the area, and within a four block radius at any given time, there's something like 800 parking spaces. So we're at this point, we're not too worried about parking. Of course, if the area starts to get a little more like the short north and all the new restaurants over there, you know, I'm sure parking will change a little bit, but I would say we're good for the next 10 years or so.
Well, we hope so. But one of the things I'm sure we want to make sure is we have a line of communication with either you or the people who run the overall Trolley District in terms of how we can address maybe unanticipated parking overflows. Because, you know, most people who live in Franklin Park are very familiar with some of the large events like Asian Festival and such that have large influxes of people. And of course, I'm sure when you first open, you'll have, you know, everybody in the city coming to take a peek, which is understandable. But over time, you know, we would like to work together with you to make sure that the visitors take advantage of the on-site parking and reasonably use the street parking, not to the detriment of the residents of the area. So the, let's see. I'm looking down. Oh, this is a long-standing question, which you may or may not be familiar with, but it is, will there be a FPCA, Franklin Park Civic Association, membership preview before the opening of the East Market?
Because we don't have an opening date right now, I don't know that I can answer that question, but I would love to keep in contact with you, Will, to
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
to keep that as an open option.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that very much. And I understand none of us have Johnny Carson's crystal ball, so we're going to do the best, you know, we can to hope that stores open as close to schedule and as close to at the same time as possible.
Absolutely. We're working as hard as we can to get things opened. I mean, over the winter when, you know, we should have made a lot more progress. Every other week we were closing down the site because somebody was, you know, testing positive for COVID.
Right.
And we thought that was going to be the worst of the delays. And it turns out that's nowhere near encompassing all of the problems that COVID has created with delays. So, yep, we're working hard to get it open on time and get everybody open at the same time.
Very good. So here's another question. Did you do any surveying to see if there are any small business owners in the Franklin Park neighborhood for vendors?
We have had a sign out for over a year. We have been contacted by some people in the immediate area. We have a couple of local residents that actually are opening up. We have a lot of interest for one reason or another. You know, a lot of the businesses weren't quite there. For example, I had a young gal who was very interested in a spot for her croissant business, and her business just wasn't quite there yet. So she is a great candidate for the pop-up. And, you know, we will be taking applications and information for that, you know, as soon as we're ready to get that pop-up going. But we would love to have residents in the area, again, that just aren't quite ready to support a full-time business, come into that space.
Very good. So let me ask if there are any other questions from the floor. Julia Lynn, do you have any questions?
No, I believe there were one or two still in the chat, though. One, I think, was just more information, and I think that the website is available, so people can go directly there for further information overall.
No, we do not have a website. We are on social media, on both Facebook and Instagram. If you want to give us a like or a follow, you'll see all of our updates there. So every time we sign on a new tenant or, get closer, we have some, some of those some of those pictures, progress pictures that I shared, have been, shared as we go on social media. But at the moment, we do not have a website. Because all of the stalls are full, and the question that people really want to know the most is when we're going to open. We're not opening those up for questions at the time, at the moment. So,
okay. One of the broader question was in terms of signage. Will there be signage, for instance, on Nelson or Broad Street or Main Street that will direct people to the Trolley District?
That's a very good question, and I think eventually, probably not in the beginning. We do intend on being a destination for Columbus, and we will have signage at the airport directing people to the district when the district as a whole opens. At the moment, we don't have any signage planned, but I'm sure in the future there will be plenty of ways to find us.
Okay, well then that should, there was one other question about the residential lot, but that might be more personal than corporate. I
mean, what I can say is that area will be breaking ground on a 102 unit apartment building sometime next year. I don't really have much information beyond that. Being a part of the company, I do know what's going on, but I really don't know much about the timeline or what those apartments will look like.
Okay, well then perhaps we can draw this part of the discussion to a close. And thank you very much, Aubrey. We have the follow-up information. You know that we will meet with you. There's some other concerns that have come up, and we want to speak directly about those. In a prospective way. So we, get out in front of some things before they become a potential problem as we have so far. So again, thank you very much on behalf of the association. You will get a complimentary membership to FPCA. So we hope that this will be your first of many meetings and that you'll find other ways to participate, as we move forward. So thank you very much. Please, you're welcome to stay and be a part of the meeting, but we'll move on to our regular agenda and look at some of the outstanding items that we have, our regular, yes, I do know that. Okay, so.
Thank you so much for having me. I am gonna sign off because I'm still at the office and ready to make it home for the day. So I appreciate you having me and look forward to coming back again.
All right then. Take care. All right, fine. So it's now 7:17, almost 7:20, and we have a full agenda before us. So I really want to request that people be very focused in their remarks. And if there is something that could wait till next month, let's knock it over, okay? In terms of our minutes have been posted. People have had an opportunity to review them. Notices have gone out about the minutes as well as the talking bullets. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or criticisms of the meetings for July, of the minutes for July? Can I have a motion to adopt the minutes? Hello.
Motion to adopt. This is Mika.
Is there a second?
This is Carol. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. All right, can we have the treasurer's report? I saw Nick on here somewhere.
I am here. We had a couple expenses
our Zoom subscription, and then we had a reimbursement for some party supplies, which was for the graders event, and then also reimbursement for the kids' activity to Melinda Anderson. So that brings our ending balance to $6,202.76.
Okay. All right, fine. So we'll accept the report for audit. NEAC, I saw Roy.
I'm here. Good evening. So NEAC had a special meeting last week on Thursday. We normally don't meet in August, but since we didn't meet in July, lacking enough commissioners to hold a meeting, we had a special meeting last week, which was generally uneventful, except when it came to the elections issue for NEAC. And then, well, I would say things kind of got a little crazy there. There was a interaction related to the fact that the commissioners who were, or rather the candidates who wanted to run from District 4, who had gotten endorsements from Franklin Park Civic, were not allowed to be candidates for election, and there was some back and forth there. It was somewhat ironic. After that, the city of Columbus issued their their memorandum regarding decorum at area commission meetings, which clearly had been violated at our own meeting the day before. In any case, the elections committee for NEAC is going to meet on Thursday, and that committee will then establish how the unfilled seats will be filled. And I expressed an interest, and other commissioners agreed with that, rather than have vacant seats filled by a vote of the seated commissioners, we would go outside the bylaws and go to a special election. I can't, I'm not on the elections committee, but my expectation is that the committee will support that idea. Certainly the general feeling on the commission was that we should have a special election to fill the 2 seats in District 4, and one of the other districts has a vacant seat. I'm forgetting whether it's 1 or 2. In any case, I would anticipate, if my guess is correct, that there will be a special election in early October to fill the vacant seats. And at that point, we'll be in position to elect officers. I believe that NEAC is at a somewhat transitional point where the leadership that had been in place in NEAC is evolving. So we really are likely to see some change in the organization before the end of the year in terms of numerous things, I would say. I appreciate Brian putting up on the chat. It is a public meeting for the elections committee, and Brian, thank you very much for putting up. And also to Kim, that Kim is saying there's a seat in District 1 and District 3, so I did not remember that correctly. So that's going to be an important point in time. When we look back, I think we will look back and see that this is really the point where NEAC may have changed its direction. There are additionally the at-large seats coming up, and those are typically the candidates for those seats, and that would be for business, education, and religion. Those seats are elected by the seated members of the commission. I don't believe that is changing. So those are all about to happen. We're going to have a bunch of new people on the commission going forward. And one thing you could tell, whether regardless of what your feelings might be about Nearest Area Commission that's going to change. And, I think that the Franklin Park Civic is in a great position to help influence that change. So we definitely want to make sure that the candidates who want to run for District 4 get a letter on letterhead that's signed by an officer of Franklin Park Civic and scanned and submitted to the elections committee when the announcement is actually made for the election. So that's a quick summary of what's going on at NEAC. Again, it was just a special meeting. Nothing special happened except this exchange about the election.
Okay, thank you, Roy. Any questions for Roy regarding NEAC? Okay, then thank you very much. Again, I want to encourage people to think about being involved with NEAC at a number of different levels. So yes, you can be a commissioner and there is a process and we know how to follow that process. If you want to be a member of a committee, you can be a member of a committee. You can be an at-large candidate. So a number of different ways to be involved. And I encourage people to look at the overall structure and think about being involved in some way. Because as Roy said, this is a time for change, and this is a time to be a part of that change. Okay, let's go on to our committee reports. Public and member relations. Any comment, any report?
Hi. Oh, wait. Is that me?
I didn't think so. You're next, but I like the enthusiasm. Okay, we'll come back. I think we're going to, I should have actually said when we, after the folks were, after our guest speakers, I should have welcomed folk for whom this was their first meeting, because there are a number of new people on the call tonight. And I hope that you will be encouraged to join and stay a part of the process. So you will hear from member relations going forward, because we do want you to stay involved for the rest of this year and the coming year. Okay, activities and events. Miriam, that is you.
Hello. I was so excited to share all of our event information. So we start. Yes, we started off the month with a walk, and we had 7 people attend, including myself, and it was really great. And then I'm doing this quickly. And then we had 2 good eats as well, popsicles, and it was a very muggy night. So I was surprised at the amount of people that actually did show up, which was really nice. And I was speaking to Jenny Pope, and she said actually this time of year, people there are fewer people in the park because they're getting ready for the school year to start. Another thing that we're doing, we're trying to coordinate, is a shred event during the month of November. And at this time, we're still trying to pinpoint a location. I have a call out to the Columbus Preparatory School girls, but I haven't heard back. I called them yesterday, but I know that they're probably like really in the throes of starting school. But the shredding company, they've been very gracious and like open to whenever we find that location. They have 2 dates in November that so far are still open. And I think that's about everything very quickly. Tamika, did I miss anything?
We have our walk
tomorrow.
coming up first weekend, first Saturday of September. So you can meet us at Franklin Park near the Horseshoe, 10 a.m., first Saturday of September.
And I just want to also add as well, we normally have on the 3rd Thursday, we'll have a treat truck. This September, we will not have something. Graders wasn't able to do it. They kind of got back to me too late to let me know that they weren't available. And so all the other treat trucks are not available. So we're just going to skip this month and maybe do coffee and something else, and coffee and donuts in October.
Okay. Did I miss the children's activity, the artwork?
Oh, and we did that as well. That was that the end of July, or was that in August? No, that was August 11th. That was, yeah. And there was like 2 or 3 children that did participate. We didn't feel comfortable taking pictures because we didn't have release forms with us or anything like that. But we did take some pictures of just kind of the woman whose name I can't recall at the moment. Melinda, is that correct? Melinda and the actual tissue paper scenery of the seasons was one of the activities that to glue and there are little pieces and they can assemble, and it was really adorable. But there wasn't a whole lot of people. There just weren't a lot of kids in the park that day.
Okay, you can always do the back of their heads.
Okay, good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That was a lot. We have a lot planning going forward. But yes, there is a change of seasons, and so the walks will continue. The treats will cut back. We'll have the shredding event, and then we'll start planning for our annual event. So please think about that. Think about ways you may want to contribute and be on the committee for our bingo activity.
And I will just call out quickly that because of Labor Day, our walk is actually the second week. The date is in the chat. Thank you, Brian, for calling that out. It is on the 11th. Just since people will be on for Labor Day.
Okay, thanks, Kirsten. Lynn, I wanted to acknowledge our mixologists. For those of you who were able to see the video, and it's still on our Facebook page, so you can go check out Jay as a mixologist when he did the First Friday activity. And we also have First Friday coming up. I see you, Lynn, I'm coming to you. We have First Friday coming up for September, and we want to see your flowers. We want to see your garden. You know, the passion is gardening, so where are your flowers? And it doesn't have to be the whole garden. It can be one flower. I told somebody it could be a blank space showing your aspirational interest. But, you know, we do want to see something. Lynn, comment, question?
I just wanted to talk about the Hot Times is September 10th, 11th, and 12th. Hot Times Festival will be on the site of the Douglas School instead of the health department. HotTimesFestival.com, and there's a Nancy Wilson tribute on Friday night. It's very scaled down, but still looking for community representation. You don't have to have a booth, but you can bring information over to the Volunteer Central. And I'm working with some of the NEAC folks to see if we can get a map of the area and show the different boundaries of organizations, but you can certainly be part of it without actually having a booth. So if anybody's interested in ways, you can reach out to me, but it just want to put it on your calendar, September 10th, 11th, and 12th on the Douglas Street, the Douglas School, which will be cool to have one fun event before they tear it down to make it a little senior rec center.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Lynn. Any other comments or questions for the Activities and Events Committee? Okay, then let's move on to health, safety, and wellness. Kim?
Hi, am I on?
Yes.
Okay. The first thing I would like to do is give a big shout out to the Women's Board from the Franklin Park Conservatory and Bill, who runs the Miracle Grow space there. They came and helped at the community garden on Linwood last weekend, and what an amazing group of people. So big thank you there. Also, everybody get out, pull some weeds, water something. I mean, supplemental food right now is a big deal. If you go to our local Kroger's, you'll notice that there are many vacant shelves. So check on people that you know are living alone, and make sure that they're okay.
Right, right. No, definitely. And then share your produce from the gardens, whatever you have. It may not seem much to you, but it can make all the difference to someone else. So please try and share. And also, Stoddard Avenue had Bessa. We arranged that. So there's still still interested. The school Williams on, I don't know if the hookup was made with Ohio State. Richard and Joyce, are you going to be able to get the Ohio State students out to your place or one of your places?
No, not this year. I think we're going to shoot for next year.
Okay.
But yeah, we're overwhelmed with some other stuff that we're trying to.
Right. I totally understand. Okay. Well then, but know that we are continuing to organize basically corporate organizational volunteers to the different FPCA community gardens to help them get in shape and stay in shape. Because very often people have volunteers to do the ongoing, but sometimes you just get behind, you need some help. Okay, so that's it for any other questions for health, safety, and wellness? Okay, then let's go to development and improvement, please.
I heard back from I think he's the Near East Side liaison, Jesus Olave, who works with NEAC on a variety of issues, one of which is the Urban Infrastructure Recovery Fund that was announced at NEAC some months ago. Franklin Park submitted a proposal for several projects we'd like to see in our neighborhood area. A copy of that proposal is on our website, and we'll include that into the minutes of the meeting. But with regard to the funding for ours or any other projects, what Mr. Olave said is that the planners are waiting for the completion of a Mount Vernon Avenue study. That study is expected to be completed by November, after which the planners and Mr. Olave will come back to NEAC and meet with them and citizen groups, neighborhood groups that submitted proposals to talk about what funds may be available to be distributed for projects that were proposed earlier this summer. And I think that's all I had on development. So let me just, well, Mr. Papaoko spoke this morning. I did hear from a number of other residents about the development on Fairwood, and it seemed to be a mystery development from the standpoint of the city. Nobody knew who had organized it, who had been notified it. And so I know a similar situation occurred across Broad Street. And so letters being sent to City Council to try and hold into account that division of the Department of Public Service, which is supposed to notify people, provide a point of contact, so that if people have problem with construction crews coming, as they did this morning at 6:30 in the morning, unloading their truck, starting jackhammers, that kind of thing, that the city can be held into account for giving better guidance to their subcontractors. That's all I have on that topic until we hear back from the city in terms of how they plan to keep us apprised.
Any comments or questions for Will?
That's specific to like what's going on right now, or is that just in general?
Either or.
Okay. Because I had kind of a situation, but one of the things that this current thing that's happening on Fairwood is I was told by them to, if you have any complaints or concerns, to definitely reach out to 311, but it's the city's design and construction department who's hired the contractors. So that's all. That's just all I wanted to add.
Yeah, ironically, Miriam, they have a website that lists supposedly all the projects around town, and you can find out who the project manager is by hitting that link. But this project was not identified, and when I called 311, they had no idea. There seemed to be some confusion as to whose project and what it is. So again, if residents have concerns, not only contact 311, but feel free to write us at Franklin Park Civic at Gmail, and we'll do our best to try and see if we can help resolve whatever issues you may be having with the city or the contractor.
Yeah, Bill, I've had several problems, and we tried to lodge complaints through 311. As many of the residents who walk up and down Fairwood Avenue knows, my issue started with a water leak about a month ago that was repaired, but then my hole stayed there for, it's been there for a while. And to my surprise, they started this project. But it's inconsistent. They do things on one block that they don't do on other block. Example, my aprons in front of my garage has been destroyed over the years by the city, pushing salt and on my aprons. We are on a fair through emergency route, so they have to keep it clean. So if you're new to the area, you don't know this, you can shovel your payments, and an hour later the city comes in and then pushes it all back on the payment and onto your garage. But they have done some aprons and they have not done others. They have done all the payments on one side of the block, and then the next block they might only do 3 or 4. It is an inconsistent, but you can't reach out to talk to anybody about it.
That's my point.
You just can't find anybody.
We wrote letters.
And then we wrote letters, we sent pictures, we've done it all. And yes, they start early. and Monday I came out and there was a water main break. So you know there's been a lot of things going on, and I've never seen it as bad as it is now. They used to notify you, at least talk to the civic associations, and then everybody knew it was coming. But this one,
they hide behind 311 now.
Yes, and that was it. They hide too. They don't want to say a word. You know, we've asked for the inspectors to come and look at it. And as of yet, no one showed up. And talking to the workers is a waste of time because they are workers.
Yeah, they don't know. But let's try and keep those complaints together, and then we can lodge them as a civic association in addition to the individual, and see if we can't get some action that way. But you're absolutely right. You know, they hide behind 311, and even if you say, you know, especially now, lack of personnel, et cetera, you know, it's just an issue. But again, and you know, just shove it on over. But if you have a complaint, an issue, a situation, whatever you want to call it, please send it to the FPCA email address, and we will collate them and lodge them as a collective response. Okay, anything else for development and improvement?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, well then let's move on to stay on. Don't go to mute, Will. Let's stay on to old business. Any update on the our federal status?
Yes, as some of you know, we've talked about moving from what was formerly 501c4 to 501c3 status. And the IRS has pretty strict rules and specific rules about how to do that. In working with one of our members who has had extensive experience with that, and that member is Rory Lowenstein, trying to look like I'm talking about. He pointed out that what we need to do is start by modifying our mission statement to define ourselves as meeting a charitable purpose as opposed to educational purpose. And so I've taken the draft that Roy has developed for our mission statement, circulated to our executive committee, and hopefully we will get some traction on that and then be able to provide that and any resulting changes from that change in mission statement in the rest of the bylaws out to our membership so that we can take them up for adoption at our next meeting in September. Roy, anything you want to?
No, you got it. You got
Okay.
it there.
Good.
I'm perfectly willing to help you further with this.
Thank you there. And Brian has been very helpful. Brian's been around with the organization as an officer. So, you know, we've been picking various people's institutional and historical knowledge and experiential knowledge. And I think we'll be able to make headway as long as the rules don't change at the IRS. So.
Okay, good. Any other comments for the bylaws subcommittee? Federal status. Okay, any other old business? Okay, any new business? No new business.
Fridays.
Brian.
First Fridays.
Okay, that's more of an announcement, but we could, you go ahead, you could do it.
Next Friday, we're going to be talking about gardens, and we want to see your pictures. And so feel free to send them to fpcivic@gmail.com. Pictures of your garden, as President Walker just mentioned. And for October, since that's going to be 3 days after the next meeting, do we have a topic?
Let's get suggestions from the body. First Friday would be about your passion. Is there someone who has a secret passion, like Jay and his mixology, or me and my history, that you'd like to share with the group? So you don't have to be an expert at something. This is just something you enjoy that you'd like to share. And really, if we can do October, November, that would be fine. And it's an hour. So, you know, you can prepare like 30 minutes and then we can have some questions. It can be lively. Maybe you like to make one of those balloon toys, you know, doesn't matter, whatever your passion is. So, and if you aren't sure tonight, again, just drop us a note in the email and we will be right back at you. Okay? All right. Any other new business? Any other announcements?
I have one. I just thought folks might want to know that the apartment building on Oak Street happens to be right down the street from my house, that sometimes is referred to as Abbott Terrace, which was its original name. It's a 28 unit, all subsidized housing building. Abbott Terrace just got finally, after several years that Community Properties of Ohio applied for funding, they finally scored a bunch of money. So we should be expecting that building to be substantially renovated next year. So I just thought that was a nice piece of news related to the preservation of affordable housing in our neighborhood.
Very good. Well, it's at the corner of Oak and what now?
Morrison.
Oh, Oak and Morrison.
Yeah, and I can't help but think that it's related to Trolley Barn. It's the north side of Oak Street between Morrison and the Trolley Barn. And so that's you know, again, the spillover effect of the development. Yeah.
I bet you people like myself have driven by there for many years and never known that that was called Abbott Terrace.
Yeah, well, it says there's a piece of limestone up high on that building. And that's the name of it. It was, I think, built in the 1920s. It's a historic building.
Very good. That's
so
excellent.
It will be preserved as affordable housing, and you know, I'm happy to hear that happen. I'm planning, you know, since I know the folks at Community Properties of Ohio, at least a couple of them, I'm going to reach out to them and see if I can find out what the scope of work's going to be over there. And if I do learn anything, I'll report back to you folks if you're interested.
Sure. Thank you.
Right. It might be good to actually have them come to a meeting and do a presentation on about the development.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will
Excellent.
bring that up.
Okay. I was unable to attend, but I understand that the unveiling of the law office was very successful. There was a good combination of folk and activities, and we've got a mural now up. So, you know, we definitely want them to remain a part of the association. But if you happen to have any immigration issues, please think of them. There's a new neighborhood business. And as I said, if we happen to have any immigration issues, support them, think of them first, and let's see how we can continue to incorporate them into the community. Any other announcements?
Yes, I was actually at that mural unveiling on Saturday. It's pretty great to have poets there and the artists there and free books giveaway by the local bookstores there and the people there. It was
nice.
And I saw Miriam there too. And that was very amazing for a neighborhood. Streetlight Guild, which is like about a half block west, they have a mural on their front fence. They will be sort of reopening soon. They were supposed to have a big party this week, but that was canceled because of our friend Delta. But they're slightly reopening soon, and it's great to see the work done there. And then I was at both of the CODA meetings, both this afternoon and on Thursday, and they mentioned that, in a nutshell, late night service will not be back until they hire more drivers. So if you have friends that are looking for work, CODA's desperately hiring drivers. The other part of the meeting was their fare change structure. Fares will not increase. They're going to have low discount fares for low income people. More information can be found on CODA's website on the whole process as well. And our neighbors to the east are having a few events. Like the Bexley's Labor Day party is going to be Sunday the 5th. Main Street will be closed for 2 blocks on that Sunday. And the chamber is doing their Taste of Bexley event outdoors at the Clifton Meadow outside of Jeffrey Park on the 23rd, the Thursday before our next meeting. And those are some of their, and also we should start planning the mingle soon, looking for businesses to help sponsor raffle items and gifts for the mingle in the next few meetings.
Okay. Also with CODA, I didn't attend the meeting, but I did read that the connector downtown, that free bus that went up and down High Street, has been discontinued. And I like that, and I always recommended it for people who were coming into town and were downtown or coming in for conferences, because it was a great way for people to get around. Also, the connector from the airport downtown has been discontinued. And I really just don't understand Columbus and it's how it expects to promote, access, travel, interactions, etc., when they continue to cut back on public transportation like that.
I can reply on that. Those were COVID-related cuts. They will try to bring them back again, as many as they can get, as soon as they can hire more drivers. Late night service and more express routes and more frequent service. For example, like 30-minute service on number 9 and number 11 buses. Those are their top priorities right now. And the C bus, it's not gone for good, but not right now. But
I think we do have to look at, I think there are a number of things changing, and I just kind of want to move on, Brian. And I know that schools open, there some changes. I think we should be prepared. As was said earlier, our friend Delta has not gone away. And so people are making decisions on an ad hoc basis this year, almost as much as they were last year. So we should just be prepared for changes and make plans, but understand that those plans may need to be changed because of the policy changes around COVID. But I know that, let me just stop there. So if there are no more announcements, no more questions or concerns,
I did.
The date for our
I did,
next meeting, Kim?
I did want to announce that we have another new business on Main Street at the corner of Linwood and Main. It's a photography studio. They also had their open house on Saturday. Lots of great things happening there. So Saturday was a very busy day in the neighborhood.
Oh,
Saturday
yeah.
was a very busy day, and that's why I couldn't,
Yeah,
go
you
to
couldn't
the
even park
mall.
near Central Community House because of the festival there on their corner of Bryden and the Kwanzaa Playground. That was very well attended as well.
Yeah, and then about the Q Studio, that was going to be a coffee shop. We all thought it was going to be a coffee shop. I stopped by, gave Jeff, the owner, a card. He said that the coffee shop fell through within the last month, and he is able to open up the studio in that spot.
Okay.
Right.
Lynn.
Actually,
Oh, no, hold on. No, I said, okay. Okay, Kim, go ahead.
I'm actually pretty relieved that it's not a coffee shop because of the parking on Linwood. That would have just really caused some serious issues. I'm exceedingly happy that
Okay,
it's
all right, okay, we keep our remarks focused tonight. Lynn,
Did you announce about the garden, the Stoddard Garden that's going to be open on next Tuesday?
September 2nd, right? What? No, August
No.
31st, Tuesday.
Right.
What time?
August 31st.
It might be 6.
6
So
to 7:30, 6:30.
Yeah, it's an
6
open
to
house.
7:30.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. Okay, great. I just want to make sure it was announced for everybody.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, August 31st, start it, okay?
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
Wow, all that, I'm gonna get out 3 minutes early? All right, then is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second, got it? All in favor?
Seconded.
All
Who
right.
seconded?
Who second, William?
I thought I moved, but
All right, you
did.
moved, I said William second.
I'll second this, Tamika.
Okay,
That's it.
all right, all in favor?
I
Aye. Let's.
Opposed? Abstentions?
All right.
Go out, be strong, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
All right.
Stay well.
all right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
Lord knows. Said they're hiding behind.
Joe? Isom? He signed up. Yeah, Brian, I was going to tell Mr. Isom that I think he had some questions that didn't get answered in the chat, and then we can send those to Ms. Stevens and ask her to provide an answer, or when we have our meeting with her and the executive committee, we can bring them up then. Because I think there are more traffic circulation and parking kind of issues, which clearly she is not in charge of. So, all right, good night, y'all.
All right.